It's 6:1. RTE News with Anne Doyle.
Figures for last year show a dramatic rise in serious crime here. The relief effort to help the living in the ruins that were BAM. A reward for everyone at Celtic, Martin O'Neill on the honours list. Good evening and welcome. New figures have shown there was a dramatic rise in the number of serious crimes committed in Ireland last year. The Garda Commissioner's annual report for 2002 shows that armed robberies rose by 2/3 last year, while the number of rape cases notified to Gardaí increased by 1/4. The Minister for Justice, Michael McDowell, says the rising crime rate has reversed in 2003, but Labour says the figures are a shocking indictment of the government's record.
This Garda report is the first time that a detailed breakdown of offences in 2002 has been published, and it shows an alarming rise in the number of serious offences. Physical assault cases in which people were injured rose by over 60%, while sexual assault figures were up by 55%. The number of people murdered last year remained static at 52, but there was a jump in the number of homicide cases investigated by Gardaí. This figure of 133 included an increase in the number of murder threats reported to Gardaí. Commissioner Conroy's report indicates that overall crime level is low in Ireland compared with other countries of similar size. The Justice Minister Michael McDowell has pointed out that the provisional figures for 2003 show that reported crime levels have started to drop, and that the rising crime rate for 2002 has now been reversed. Meanwhile, the threat of industrial action in the country's prisons has increased after talks over plans to cut prison officers' overtime failed to reach agreement. The Department of Justice says contingency plans will be rolled out tomorrow, including the closure of Spike Island and the Curragh prisons. The Prison Officers Association says it's bitterly disappointed. Storm clouds are gathering over the country's prisons. The prison officers are clearly unhappy with the government's stance, and the Justice Minister has indicated that he'll take in the Gardaí and armed forces if necessary to run the prisons in the event of industrial action. It may not be such a happy new year in Ireland's jails. Gareth O'Connor, RTE News, Mountjoy Prison, Dublin.
In the north, a man was doused in petrol by a gang during an armed robbery at his home near Enniskillen last night. The victim was tied up with his partner and beaten by 2 masked men who forced their way into the couple's home. The robbers escaped with a large sum of money. And in County Donegal, a postmistress and her husband were assaulted yesterday during an armed robbery at their home in Fawn near Buncrana. 3 armed men made off with a 5-figure sum of cash. The postmistress managed to escape and alerted a neighbour. The couple were taken to hospital, where the condition is described as comfortable. 46 people from Northern Ireland were included in Britain's New Year's honours list, among them Celtic boss Martin O'Neill. England's World Cup winning rugby squad were also honoured.
Martin O'Neill from Kilrea in County Derry led Celtic last summer to their first major European final in over 30 years. The former Northern Ireland soccer captain said his OBE award was a testament to the work put in by everyone at the Glasgow club. 2 other prominent sportsmen in the north receive MBEs. They're amateur golfer Garth McGimpsey from Bangor in County Down and Irish rugby international David Humphreys from Belfast. At 32, he's believed to be the youngest recipient from the north on the New Year honours list. England's Rugby World Cup winning team, however, takes centre stage with a knighthood for coach Clive Woodward and awards for all the squad members. Some well-known names from British show business, the arts and media are also on the list, including Eric Clapton, Joan Plowright, Chris Tarrant and Nicholas Parsons. The Chief Commissioner of the North's Equality Commission, Joan Harbison, becomes a dame for her services to equal opportunities. A former Presbyterian moderator, Reverend John Dunlop from Belfast, is one of 5 people in the North to become CBEs. Evelyn Greer, a member of the Special Olympics International Board, receives an OBE, as does Tony Kennedy, the Chief Executive of Cooperation Ireland. MBEs have also been awarded to 2 well-known media figures. Former RTE London editor Mike Burns receives his award for services to UK-Irish relations. Belfast journalist Alf McCreary is acknowledged for his work as a writer and involvement with charities such as Christian Aid. Michael Fisher, RTE News, Belfast.
As the people of Burundi pay their last respects to the murdered Vatican envoy, Archbishop Michael Courtney, the country's last active rebel group, the National Liberation Forces, gave the head of the Catholic Bishops' Conference there 30 days to leave. He has accused the rebel group of carrying out the murder. Archbishop Courtney's body is due to be brought back to Ireland tomorrow. In the largest demonstration since the beginning of the Intifada, tens of thousands of Palestinians were marking the 39th anniversary of Yasser Arafat's Fatah movement in the West Bank and Gaza. Security is tight across Israel as police and security services go on high alert for any possible terror attack on New Year's Eve. Meanwhile, Syria has denounced plans by Israel to double the number of settlers in the Golan Heights, which, like the Palestinian-populated West Bank and Gaza, was seized in the 1967 Middle East War. The World Health Organization has said confirmation or otherwise of a fresh outbreak in China of the deadly SARS virus should come within a week. The Chinese government agreed to send samples from the suspected case in southern Guangzhou to an overseas laboratory for definitive tests. Initial indications were that a 32-year-old television journalist had been infected by the flu-like disease that triggered a worldwide health crisis earlier this year. The number killed in last Friday's earthquake in Iran may not be as high as predicted. Officials in the devastated city of Bam now say they're expecting a final death toll of more than 26,000. Aid workers from the United States have joined the relief effort, becoming the first official US representation in Iran in almost 25 years.
A seemingly relentless stream of corpses yet to bury and untold numbers left bereaved. But amid the anguish and grief, stories of some near miraculous escapes. After all hope of rescue had been abandoned, press reports have said a handful of people, including a baby and a young girl, have been pulled out of the rubble. Officials have begun revising the death toll downwards. They're now saying 26,500 people have been buried, and that it's expected the number of victims shouldn't rise much more. But so desperate is the situation, many of the dead are being buried without being identified. This man says, "We take pictures of the bodies which are coming in so that the family can identify them afterwards." These photographs are then displayed on computers at the many new cemeteries around the city, with a constant stream of relatives trying to locate loved ones. Aid efforts are now focused almost exclusively on those who've been left homeless. According to the United Nations, 1,800 tents have gone up to house survivors. The earthquake destroyed 90% of the city's houses. The UN says the spread of survivors makes the distribution of aid difficult and could cause sanitation problems. The massive humanitarian effort has been bolstered by an 80-strong US team of medics and aid workers.
Our main focus while in Iran is to set up a temporary field hospital where we can take critically ill patients.
This catastrophe may have broken the ice between two countries that haven't had any diplomatic ties since the Islamic Revolution in Iran in 1979. But the Iranian president, Mohammad Khatami, warned it didn't change relations between the two countries. Little comfort to the thousands of survivors preparing to spend a sixth night in the freezing cold. Justin Tracy, RTE News.
The tricolour is in danger of becoming one of the disregarded shipping flags of the world, according to the Labour Party spokesman on the Marine, Tommy Bruin. He claims it's being used as a flag of convenience to register old ships, a claim also made by sources in the shipping industry. But the Department of the Marine says all ships registered here have been properly inspected.
The number of ships owned in Ireland has never been very large, in the past few years averaging around 30. But curiously, there seems a new interest in flying the tricolour. The reason is being questioned.
I think 8 ships with connections in Italy, Portugal, Gibraltar, various other places around Europe have suddenly appeared on the Irish register. There are rumours that there are 40 more of similar ships who may come onto our register. And there's a general concern that the Irish flag might be being allowed to become a flag of convenience, given that the companies concerned don't even have a brass nameplate in the port of Cork, for example, where most of these new vessels have been registered.
Sources in the shipping insurance industry and in ship registration in London, and master mariners here confirm the moves towards the Irish Shipping Register. Registering a ship in a country where the owners do not reside is known as using a flag of convenience, and is a practice that has come in for scrutiny from unions representing seafarers and the United Nations body dealing with safety at sea, the International Maritime Organization. Older ships can operate safely once they meet the regulations. The Department of the Marine says those registered in Ireland have passed Irish inspections. Tom McSweeney, RTE News, Cork Port.
Ireland's second oldest person has died at the age of 109. Bridget Duran, who lived in Galway, was born on Inishmore in the Aran Islands. She was imprisoned in Mountjoy during the War of Independence for membership of Cumann na mBan, where she went on hunger strike, and is said to have witnessed the hanging of Kevin Barry while there. She spent 39 years in the United States and in 1998 was awarded an honorary master's degree from NYE. Her biography, A Woman of Aran, was published when she was 103. And there we take a break. Still to come, Ozzy Osborne's son Louis takes an Irish wife. And bringing in the new year, the now traditional celebrations get underway in Sydney and are watched worldwide by more than 1 billion television viewers.